Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. This is the 5th time I've made this video. So I'm going to try one more time, because every time I do it, I'm just not pleased with it. Okay, it comes down to this. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's what I'm going to name this video here. And I'm going to link it to anybody who asks me this question. Or I'm just not going to answer it anymore. Can I paint with latex? Can I paint with acrylic? Can I paint with oil? I have to come down to one thing. And this is my little mathematical fraction here. Whoops. Your denominator is paint with any paint you want. You can paint with anything you want. My numerator is oil. You're going to put in whatever paint you want. It's up to you what you want. I can't tell you what to paint your doll with. Somebody got on my channel there and was telling me that you can't get an allergic reaction to latex anymore. I really don't care. I'm not going to paint with latex. It's not the best paint for, and I'm going to say it, it's not the best paint for composition dolls. Acrylic is not the best paint for composition dolls. That's my take on it. That's my opinion. Paint with whatever paint you want. Your doll, your restoration. That's how it's going to go. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I like the look of oil on my dolls. I don't like acrylic. I've got dolls with acrylic on it, and once I paint it with oil, I never went back to acrylic again. And the thing is, the oil paint today is lead-free. So when you strip a doll down like I do, and you're working with a bare canvas again, you're putting on paint that has no lead in it. And that's a beauty in itself to me. But you got to do what's good for you. And I can only tell you, this is what I like. And so when you ask me, you're getting what I like. So you got to go with what you like. It's your doll. I can't tell you what to do, and nor would I. So I just want to put that out there. If you want to paint with whatever you want, go ahead. I was reading up on latex paint. There are still people getting allergies from latex paint. Is it the latex itself? They say no. It's other chemicals in the paint. Though latex gets a bad name, a bad rap for it because of these chemicals that are in there. I really don't care. I'm not going to paint with latex. I don't like the look of any of those plastic paints. I don't put plastic on top of wood. And that's what you're doing. But again, that's my preference. You got to go by what your preference is. And that's the bottom line to it. Paint with any paint. I chose oil. So my numerator is oil. My denominator tells me I can paint with any paint. That's open for everybody. What are you going to fill yours with on top? What's your numerator? What are you going to paint with? Is it oil? Is it acrylic? Or is it latex? Paint. I can't tell you which one is for. I can tell you which one, in my opinion, is the best, and it's oil. That's me. That's my opinion. You have your own. So you have to pick what you feel, what you like, when you put that first coat of paint on. And if you like it, go with it. So I was listening to a lot of reborn doll artists. And there's 2 ways to paint a reborn. You can either do air dry paints, or you can do Genesis heat paints. Now, in the early days, a lot of people were using their convection ovens, their ovens that they cooked their food in. But then it was told that there's chemicals coming off that paint and not to use your oven. So people bought these little convection on the countertop ovens to paint their dolls in, because of the fact that the chemicals coming out of the acrylic paint there was chemicals coming out of it. There's chemicals in oil paint. There's chemicals in everything. So people went with air dry paint, because I didn't want them to be mucked in all that in the Genesis heat set paint. And I looked at both. I've seen dolls painted on both, and they look beautiful. But it's not the same when it comes to these wood dolls, because the reason why, because it's all plastic. You're putting plastic on top of plastic, 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 plastic. But now you're putting plastic on top of wood, and that changes things, and how it reacts, and how long it will last. It'll look beautiful in the moment, but I'm not looking at the moment. I want my artwork of what I do last more than 70 years later. I want to see it last down the road. That when I paint this doll in 100 years from now, when I'm long gone and up in doll heaven, somebody's enjoying that doll still to that day. and saying, oh my goodness, this paint really lasted well. What did they use? And then we're going to find out, oh, it's that old oil paint. Can we still get it? You know, they may not be able to get it. I don't know. They might have to use plastic paint by then. I don't know for sure, because maybe oil won't be around. Who knows? You know, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I do know there's a choice out there now for people that are into reborn artists. They have a choice which one to paint with. And it all came out because of chemicals, you know. In the air, once the convection oven was done, there's still chemicals coming out of that oven because you're heating up the paint, you know. So you have to pick your weapon. And if you prefer the Genesis heat set paint, so be it. That's what the beauty in the eye is, in the eye of the beholder. That's what they behold before them, is they like that one. The next person will say, no, I like the air dry paints better. So they go with that. So everything's a choice between every artist out there that gets into these dolls and restores them or recreates a doll. They're your choices. So I can't tell you what paint to use. What is best for you is not what I would do. And just because I wouldn't do it, you're going to say, well, I like it. Well, then do it. You know, you have to go with what's good for you. And I would never tell anybody what to, don't paint that with that. Myself, I'm just telling you, I won't do that. My numerator is oil. And though I have choices down here when it comes to wood dolls, and I should put that down there, this is wood dolls. For wood dolls, I want oil. That's what I want. I want oil. Now, if I had plastic dolls, I'd change the oil to now acrylic, because you're putting plastic with plastic. So, and it receives it better. It doesn't receive very well on wood. It lays on top of it. That's why when you're picking off oil paint, it's hard to get it off because it's joined. I have to take my sander to get it off. I can take acetone and take off all this acrylic paint with no problem. But my oil paint, I got to go out there and take my Dremel, because it's joined the wood. It's part of the wood, you know. So it's grabbing right a hold of the wood for dear life, you know. I have to come here and sand it right off, and that's why I got to do it outside, because it might have lead. I don't know. Not, like I said, not all companies use, even back then. There was lead-free paint back then, and dolls were painted with lead-free paint. A lot were not. You know, there were companies that used lead paint. So it was a gamble what you're going to get and what the companies were using, you know. So it was whatever the budget was, you know, they could use in the budget, you know. So, or choices they just made that maybe it didn't come down to money. Maybe it came down to choice, you know. So I just assume all my dolls got lead in it. That's what I do. And I'm not going to buy those sticks. I just go outside and I just deal with it outside. So by taking my Dremel and I Dremel it off. So I sand it off. So when I make a choice over a wood doll, that's me. What is your choice? I'm not going to knock you for it. I don't care if you use acrylic. That's your choice. So for you, it's your choice. And you have to go with your choice. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't mean to upset anybody or anything of the sort. I just want you to make your own choices for your doll. I can only put the information out there. I can only tell you what I have experienced and what I have seen and what I have done and what looks good to me, you know. And also, you know, they saw the difference back then when they were painting those dolls with acrylic paint. But they weren't looking at the long term. They were looking at, let's make money. That's what it was about. You know, so anyhow, thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening, and have fun restoring your dolls, and paint with whatever paint you like. Goodbye.